What's up, guys? Welcome back to the House of the Dragon Aftershow. I'm your host, Brian, the Nerporeal Life Form himself, master of the continuum. And, let's just say this is going to be an interesting episode to talk about. And with us, back out of retirement, we have our guy. We got legendary Pips right here. What's going on, man? Good to see you.
Good to be back. Not out of retirement. I've just been, I have a kid now. I feel like that shouldn't have been allowed by society. But
hey, I got three, so
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there you go. I feel like it should have been illegal. Someone should have stopped me. But here we are. So got a 5-month-old at home, and that plus my job plus everything else is it's kept me pretty busy. But I've watched the first 2 episodes now. I didn't get to watch the first episode the week that it came out because I was busy doing stuff for work. But I watched both episodes. I watched this one, obviously as it came out with you guys. All everybody watching it live, right, to prepare for this. And I am ready to deliver, dare I say, the definitive evaluation of this episode. Probably the best. I mean, really, you guys shouldn't even listen to the other 2 people on this panel. Obviously, I'm going to give just the best, obviously, take on what happened here today.
That's why I bullied this gentleman into doing this. I was like, hey, what are you doing? Come on, you gotta for old time's sake, man, for old time's sake.
I am sorry that I missed the episode 1 stream. I know you and we go back to the House of the Dragon streams, and I'm sorry that I missed the first one, but I am happy to be back. So thank you for overlooking the fact that I bailed on you on the first episode and inviting me back nonetheless for episode 2. I appreciate it.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, this is, you're a guest. You're simply a guest. You have your own stuff. Your life circumstances have changed, so you're not obligated to be here. But I'm grateful to have you, man. Thanks for doing this.
Since we're talking,
I'm obligated.
House of the Dragon.
Yeah, well, Steve, you are obligated. Sorry.
Okay.
Since we're talking about all of that as a guest here, did I get salt and bread and all of that? Like, what level, what tier of Game of Thrones guest am I?
Bread.
Are you?
Yeah, sure. Bread and salt. That way, we don't slay you. We don't slay you.
Should I expect
in my stream, in my house, and all that?
Okay, so no red wedding situation. Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, pretty much. And then may the gods damn us if we do otherwise. So
okay.
Or Christian Cole, the cuck of the world.
I hate that guy so much. So,
all right,
Steve, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm sad.
Why are you sad?
Because
you like the episode
of House of the House of the Dragon episode 2. I'm sad because of this episode. I'm very sad because it's exactly everything I said it was going to be from last week.
So basically, what'd you say? Everyone's going to dress down Daemon. Daemon's going to be
It's the Daemon blaming episode. Everything. The inciting incident is for this whole episode is Daemon being a fucking moron. We're 5 minutes in. Okay, effing moron. Sorry,
yeah, you have to not watching anymore, obviously.
The whole episode is based on Daemon being a freaking idiot, and then that's it. And then Rhaenyra all of a sudden is, oh, you want my throne? It's like. I'm sitting there pulling Daemon's right. He's like, I am literally doing what you told me to do. I am literally doing what you told me to do. And now, I wanted to go to Harrenhal. Then you told, what the fuck?
I got a question.
And then Commander Cuck, Christian Cole, he's so pissed off that Rhaenyra wouldn't, go off with him and live in the
and then he ends up doing the same damn thing with Alicent.
And then he gets Eric killed. He gets both Eric's. He gets the twins killed because he's freaking can't deal with his own freaking conscience because he's a cuck. And he can't deal with the fact that he has no honor, so he gets Eric killed because his cloak was dirty. It's like, What are we doing? What are we doing?
Kristen would make a great Disney executive.
I
Didn't
like it. I didn't like it.
I want to highlight a comment from Gadfly Fiction there, if you bring that up, about all the characters being dumb, even though the writers are desperate for us to believe they're intelligent and cunning.
Yes.
So actually, I guess I'll ask you two a question. Are we supposed to think these these characters are intelligent and cunning, or are we supposed to think that they are dumb and making mistakes and doing bad things? Because my reading of the scenes was definitely that, like, no, they're obvious. Like, it's obvious that they're making mistakes. But I didn't necessarily think that the mistakes were the type of mistakes that were unbelievable of characters in those situations. So there's a lot of shows where I feel like you are presented with a character being an idiot, but they're an idiot in a way that, like, no real human person would have done the thing that they did. And that's why it ejects the audience out of the scene, right? Because you're just like, this is manufactured and contrived, right? Mm. Whereas, like, the stuff that happened that was dumb and led to bad things in these scenes, I think was reasonable. I think that a reasonable character, especially the characters that we've seen them to be thus far, so like the consistent character making decisions, I bought. I thought that, yep, I agree that this character would do that dumb thing and it would have these bad consequences.
I see. I don't think Damon would have done any of that. I don't think Damon would have like that. That's the biggest problem I have with everything right now is I don't think Damon would have gone off half-cocked to hire two people on the word of somebody that's already betrayed him to send them in willy-nilly to kill Aemond. When it's likely that they're going to get killed because Aemon is known to be a good at swordplay. On top of that, I don't believe that anybody that's going to assassinate anybody would leave anybody alive in that situation. I think it's completely preposterous that they killed the heir to the throne, and at that point they didn't just kill everybody else in that room. There's no way that doesn't happen. And then if all that happens, they just walk out of King's Landing and nobody knows the wiser, and we don't have episode 2.
So question for you. Do any of you guys know how closely that sequence of events stuck to Martin's writing? Because I'm familiar with the idea that this, like, the rat catcher scene was going to be really hard to watch. Like, I've heard people say that, but I don't know what Martin actually wrote. So my question is, did Martin write that Damon hired these guys and they killed the one son, and, like, that's the thing?
It didn't go down. Go ahead, Brian.
By the way, what's up, Salty? How you doing?
Yeah, hey, Salty. Good to see you.
Hey, Pips. What's going on?
I believe. I mean, I haven't read Fire and Blood yet, but I'm aware of because it was like a short story segment that was released years ago. Yes, the Ratcatcher was part of like a novella or something. That whole blood and cheese thing, which is what those two assassins were called, did worse. And it's, but yes. I believe it was Prince Daemon that did send them, but I don't think, the thing is, it's written as a history book, so there's a lot of unreliable narrator, because this is told by a maester at the Citadel, so I don't think there was as much detail into how it actually went down. There was no dialogue or anything. It was just kind of told that way. So
I think it was like even if it was written that way, I still don't think it makes sense. Like, personally, I know I'm not George R.R. Martin, fine, but I think it was much more likely that Daemon would go grab his dragon and go grab Aemon like he originally wanted to. It's brash, it's direct, it's physical. It's something he personally did because he's brought to that point. I believe that's much more believable than him sneaking off in the middle of the night to go hire two people on the word of somebody that's already betrayed him once, because Rhaenyra said, "Get me Aemon," and then for her to completely just turn on him because you know, he didn't tell her any lies there, none, but she just, you know, I guess Damon's lot in life is not to be trusted by those people he's working for. In his own way.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
they,
I know, you know, but
Yeah,
you know,
they bring it up.
many,
I mean, they bring
how many
up the
times
king.
how many times did he bow the knee to Viserys and Viserys still wouldn't trust him? How many times has he bowed the knee to Rhaenyra, you know, and she won't trust him? It's like, well, okay, I'll fuck off.
So
I mean,
the conversation turned into like I get what you're saying. Like he bowed the knee and she still won't trust him. I'm not sure that she actually doesn't trust him like
she
in
said
that
it
way.
directly.
She doesn't trust his decision making. I think
She
that it was
said straight up that she
Yeah,
thinks she's gonna stab her in the back. Take her.
Agenda.
I get why you're so there's the text and there's the subtext in the scene, right? And I think the subtext is essentially that she doesn't feel she can trust him to do the right thing, right? And she was wondering why she couldn't trust him to do the right thing. Was it because he is an idiot and a bad actor, or is it because there's a part of him that thinks that maybe if he sabotages her a little bit, you know? So I think that the text was that getting to the motive, and the subtext was the more sort of like how could you do something so dumb, and can I trust you in the future to not do dumb things, right? Because she didn't treat him like a traitor. If she had treated him the way that the text, the actual language of the conversation had occurred, he should have been, you know, clapped in irons and sent to a cell afterwards, not allowed to go to Harrenhal to continue to do things for her.
Well, I think she loses all support if she I think whether she trusts him or not, she puts him in the prison cell. She's done.
Yeah, Salty. It looks like you have some stuff to say.
Yeah.
No, I just ate a homemade pizza, and no, it didn't have big chunks of not cut up cheddar on it. You assholes. No. And I have photographic evidence. No, I have a couple. I just wanted to say a couple things because Pips, you had asked about that scene. And the way that it went down in the show was not how it was recorded within the book. Okay. It wasn't. They took some liberties with it, and I was afraid last week that they would end up where they were this week, which is that the pacing is the way that it is for a reason. They have dumbed this show down. They are trying to make a Bridgerton in a Game of Thrones world. That's the way it feels to me. Before I logged on, I was trying to think of an accurate sort of allegory or metaphor for what House of the Dragon season 2 is, and what it is House of the Dragon season 2 truly is mid. It is mid in every sense of the word. It is Falcon Crest. It is Dallas. It is Bridgerton. It is not made for people who like fantasy stories. I don't think this show is made for people who liked House of the Dragon. I think this show is doing more successfully what Amazon tried to do with Wheel of Time, which is to bring it to a new audience, to the audience that doesn't watch fantasy. And I think they're succeeding because I think they're bringing the Bridgerton audience in. But in the meantime, I think they're losing people like us, which we're hoping for what the best episodes of season 1 were a little more consistently, and instead we're getting the worst of what season 1 was consistently.
I'm not familiar with Bridgerton. What kind of show
just
is
like
that?
A Downtown Abbey type deal, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, I was just texting with Purple Valkyrie, and she tried to watch it because everybody told her to, and she said it's just shit. That's what Purple Valkyrie said. It's just frustrated young millennial sexy shit. That's all that it is, with a lot of people who in England that don't belong in England when this happens.
It's if Downton Abbey was softcore porn for the romantasy book reader.
Well, they're not even like the teasing of the prawn in this, or the nudity is a little over the top. It's just like I wish it's like do it or don't. That's all. but you know, that's here nor there for me. I don't give a fuck. I just
is it Aemond or Aegon? Who's the one who lost his eye? Who's the older
Aemond?
Aemond.
Aemond.
Yeah, he looks so anorexic. It's like was
the skinny
weird.
white boy,
It's weird.
the skinny white boy with the older white woman in this position of
It's-
vulnerability like a child.
Why were
Tell
all the
me, and
why
I
were all the
it's
girls in the
just
whorehouse
symbolism.
ugly?
I don't
they
know.
were all ugly.
I don't know.
Like it's like what is happening? Like I don't know. My favorite scene, like I want to say something good because look, this like there were some good things. Like I know like the beginning irritated me because I knew exactly I knew that was where we were gonna start, and it irritated me because I guess I get your point, Pips. If you believe that that's something Daemon Targaryen would have done, then fine. Like some of this stuff tracks. I get all that, but I think the scene where Otto is just laying into Aegon is probably was my favorite scene of the episode. Because just I enjoyed that the most because it actually was sort of it was factual, and we did some things there that was the guy that plays Otto was doing the work there, and even the guy that was playing Aegon I thought did a good job as playing Joffrey 2.0.
I think so. That's a good point for me to say what I think was for me the strongest part of the 2 episodes that I watched. I had a lot of issues with the acting in season 1. The acting in season 2, I think, has been consistently better. The characters, I think the actors figured out how to play their characters. I think that Rhaenyra specifically is like way less wooden and shitty. Like I really disliked her. I actually disliked both actresses that played Rhaenyra in season 1. I thought both of them did a very wooden, sort of just stiff portrayal. I wasn't really sure what they were going for. I think that she did a much better job these episodes. In this episode, I thought she was good. I thought
when you say wooden, what do you mean? Like what do you mean? What do you mean? Like lack of what?
No emotion.
Damn.
No,
like,
I don't know. I thought there was emotion.
Think
in
season 1?
Parent Wheel of Time. Yeah.
I'm trying to see what I'm trying to.
So the first actress, like even worse than the second actress. I think that she like did not have facial expressions. I'm convinced.
She did.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But even the second one, like she just, I don't know. She just, I just didn't ever understand the acting direction that she was getting given. Maybe. So she had emotions, but they didn't consistently seem like a natural, real character throughout the scenes. Is I guess kind of my takeaway is. Whereas I feel like he is in this season. So I would say that I think the actors have matured and developed into their role, and that I've enjoyed the portrayals a lot better. But Steve, I think you make a good point. I agree that if I was writing the story, Daemon would not have paid 2 people to go in on their own. Daemon would have paid someone to sneak him into the castle.
Yes, Daemon would have done it. Daemon would have done it himself. So get fucked
I agree with that. But I think if we're here to talk about episode 2, I think episode 1 sort of already happened.
No, I'm with you.
I think that of the things, like that's not the way I would have written it. I agree that is the worst. That is a worse way to write it. But the scene between him and Rhaenyra, with the events of episode 1 having happened, I liked. Most of the like 2 characters kind of like bouncing off each other. I kind of liked. I thought that the acting and the characterization was good. But
I don't know that. No. But see, I don't know that I disagree with that even. Like, but it's I personally
do totally agree with what Salty was saying about none of the things that I've liked about this show have anything to do with it being a fantasy, and I acknowledge that.
I want to understand that, Salty. You say it's not made for fantasy, like
what fantasy has happened?
Well, Steve's right, but also Pips, and I say this with love. First of all, It's really good to see you, and I hope you're doing well, and I hope your child is awesome, and you and the missus are awesome. Now, having said that, I'm going to say I completely disagree with what you just said.
I think you're a fucking asshole.
No. Having said that, I'm going to respectfully disagree. Okay. And here's why.
I'm here for it.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Here's the thing. I think the actresses, and in particular the actresses of this season, are far too relatable in a 2024 soap opera way. I am not getting the sense of grandeur in scale. I am not getting the sense that Rhaenyra's son just died. I'm not getting that. All I know is all the bitches in this show take baths or wash their face all the time. That is constantly happening in the show, and I don't know why. All of the men.
Because it's
Well,
easy
okay,
to do.
fair. But I mean, the conversation and the mannerisms of the actresses, both of them are really hot this season. Even the one that pretends she's got a dick. I mean, give me a break, lady. Okay, come on, you're a chick. They're both hot, like they are. And I'm like, okay, I'm aroused by you. When are you going to get naked? And we know you don't get that. You got to see sausage. You got to see
it's
skinny white boy.
Just to interject, it's worse because they keep putting Allison in positions where, like I don't really care about you're gonna get neutered. I don't care, but stop putting her in places where you're teasing that she's going to get nude, and then don't do it.
Episode,
like,
every goddamn
it's
episode.
Like don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't put her in that position.
I'm understanding this right. Steve and Salty are sitting over here saying, "Stop fucking edging us."
Well, come on. I mean, I can look it up. I can see if she's.
She doesn't need to be in the bath. Like, I mean, is the scene like is the bath? Sorry, but is the bath scene to reinforce that she's got nobody in there because she doesn't trust Larys, who she put in, whose bed she I don't know. Is that why it's there? I don't know.
Can I propose something here that and this I think you guys will both like in terms of this is a sign of bad writing. And I thought this while watching it, so I will acknowledge, I'll say flat out, like I've enjoyed watching these two episodes. I don't think they're great. I think that they're decent. But I will say that I did think this during those bath scenes, and it made me think of a creative writing class that I took freshman year of college, where the instructor told us, like, hey, write a scene where you had a breakup or something like that, right? You're like you're in the morning and you just had a breakup the night before. Write this scene. And then when we all turned him in, he asked the class, like, hey, how many of you guys had some variation of like the egg yolk got like broken, or like a piece of shell was in an egg or something like that, right? And everyone's hand in the class got raised, right? And he was like, yeah, because these are tropes that weak authors, weak writers use as a crutch. It's like the first thing that comes to your mind, right? And so the like contemplative woman dealing with trauma is bathing herself, and you saw it in Wheel of Time, and you saw it in this show, right? And so that is, I think you guys are making a very valid point. It's just weak writing, and there's no real forgiveness for it, but it is.
There's not enough happening for the number of episodes we have in season 2. There's no tension being built. I am fucking bored. I am watching conversations proceeding at the pace as if this would be somebody in suburbia whose husband just cheated on her, and I am in George R.R. Martin's world. And honestly, that's how I'm feeling about this. I am bored. I don't give a shit. There's no stakes. The pacing's fucked up. It's like, oh great, you hung all the rat catchers. That was the only scene that moved me, was the dog feeling sad looking at its owner dead hanging. That's the only time I felt anything in this episode. Right now, I don't give a shit who wins. I don't care. Can we get some dragon shit going on?
That's the thing about this show, and that's the one thing that has not made me as invested as it could have been, because everybody's a piece of shit. And based on what I know,
they're all terrible.
They're all going to die. 99% of the cast is going to die violently. So, and they're all, like I said, it's not easy to, one thing, it's not for everybody. My friends, like, I can't watch the show, and it's getting to be the same for me. Like, I'm watching this and I'm like, I'm not invested in what's going on.
No.
And I watched another show. I watched another HBO show that came out in 2005 or 2006. Rome. If you guys ever seen Rome, which was what was which is what they used to, which I think was the model for Game of Thrones. Watch the first episode, and I'm like, holy crap, this is so much better. This is when characters were not stupid. You had to kind of the subtext was all there. It was fascinating to watch. You have freaking C.R. and Hins as Caesar. You have the guy that plays Pompey. You got the two dudes, Ray Fisher and the other guy. Was it Ray Fisher? Yeah, Ray Fisher. Rest in peace. And the other guy, they're going to get the Caesar's staff or whatever it is, or I forget what it's called, but it was great writing. I haven't had time to watch the entire thing, but I miss that type of writing. I miss that type of writing. I miss old. I mean, this is just.
Can somebody tell me what the whole scene with not sea snake guys is about in the land stew?
For a second I initially thought they were I thought they were gay at first, but then
I thought they were
brothers. Are they brothers? Are they? I don't know.
Maybe they're gay and brothers.
They're brothers. Apparently, the sea snake owes them something. Probably because the bald dude saved his life when he was injured off screen. The scene was so.
I'm going to say that I agree with what you're saying. I think it was a total waste of a scene, right? But at this point, and I get that you guys seem to be a little more negatively inclined towards the show than I am. At this point, I'm willing to at least allow that, like, maybe those characters will become relevant later in the show, and this was setting up something. Maybe. If it's not, if there's no payoff appropriate to it, then yeah, that you're.
Well, but my problem is, Pips. Just to reiterate, sorry to interrupt. Is this episode did the same thing episode 1 did with the same character?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, there was another setup.
It's just the sea snake owes you. Okay,
we know
and
that.
And then episode 2, the brother comes and says, "Hey, the sea snake owes you." And he's like, what about your lamb and carrot stew? It's like, you just did. That's the same information we already have. We haven't done anything. Only now there's a brother involved. I get a brother or a son. I don't know. So it's just it was like a complete waste of a scene because we didn't move it forward at all. It's the same exact info we have. And it's like I just wasn't sure why it was there. Now look, like
I think just to play devil's advocate. The character was trying to push the other character into a certain direction. So you're trying to say, hey, take up that favor, go seek out glory or whatever. He's like, I don't want to seek out glory. I know what war is like. I'm reluctant to do it. Blah blah blah. So we did learn a few new things because of that. So I don't know.
I disagree.
I'm willing to give them 6 inches of rope on that thread that Brian's bringing up here, where if next episode, if they do something with that character, then like, okay, it was one scene per episode for 2 weeks, a total of 5 minutes of screen time that maybe builds into something. If next episode there's nothing that happens, then I think it's like, all right, dude.
Fair enough.
That's how I felt at the end of episode 1, because it's not like we have a 24 episode season or a 20 episode season. What do we have? 8?
8.
Yeah, we got 8. And to me, I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, you have 6 more fucking episodes left. Why am I spending all this time with you talking about feelings? Why can't things be set up and then people like have the action start and then go, well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I have no sense of waiting for something to happen. Like, I don't. And it really is. And I said it in our text group. This is only one step above Wheel of Time. This is to me now, it is one step above Wheel of Time. Well, there's nothing going on that I care about.
Well, and
I
hope we get somewhere other than Dragonstone and King's Landing. Like, I really hope that maybe we see Daemon in Harrenhal, whatever negotiation. We see Otto go to Where's he going? He's not going back to Old Town. He's going to High
Going
Garden.
to the
High Garden,
Yeah,
whatever he's going to do
we
in
saw
High
the
Garden.
wall with recycled Game of
Yeah,
Thrones footage.
Yeah, the wall was neat, but it was member berries to the max. I said that that's the thing. That's actually the one thing I said yesterday. I was like, look, it was it was totally member berries, and you know what? I don't care. I like seeing the wall. I like it was cool, and that was it, right?
Have we talked enough about the fact that they continue to use the Game of Thrones theme music at the start of the show, and they shouldn't? They haven't earned it. It's annoying every time it comes up.
Yeah, I agree. They need a new soundtrack, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I can relate. I understand why you would. I guess I can't get over that one bit, and then like there's little tiny things in each scene that like the duel of the Erics.
All right, wait. Let me take.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead. This
Go ahead.
is
Here we go.
He's about to take over.
Go, Brian.
Yeah.
Go, Brian.
No, go. Sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
Do it.
No, it's fine. Let you guys talk. But
I'm sorry. I'm gonna eat
what'd
my
you guys,
brownie.
What'd you guys think of the opening? What'd you guys think of the opening? The
notepad is
blurry
coming out.
fade in, the slow mo. Did they hire Zack Snyder to
I didn't watch
direct the beginning and everything?
The beginning.
What was the slow mo in the opening again?
Yeah, the castle is like they're searching and they're tearing it upside down.
I thought that was
tearing
dumb.
inside out.
I was pissed
dumb.
off because it should have never happened. So that's
I
where
agree.
It's
And then
I
I
agree.
don't know why, like he just breaks his father's diorama of Valeria. I'm like,
because he's
That
pissed. Like,
really.
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like,
look,
I don't know.
they're really talking up. Yeah, it's juvenile, it's idiotic, and I think it's perfect for Aegon because he's just Joffrey, only younger. Well,
But I'm also starting to keep a column of every time a man is made to look stupid, or he can be blamed for something, or diminished, or told how he's the problem. That seems to be happening with astonishing regularity in this show. And I bring that up because I went back to a Hollywood Reporter review of the entire season that didn't have spoilers, but one of the things they said is the show seems to go out of its way to make sure that people like Daemon and Aegon, you really know that it's their stupidity and arrogance that causes all of the problem in this world, and it's really the two queens that, again, if only the women were in charge, Steve and Pips and Brian.
Allison's busy stooping Christian Cole, so
Yeah. So okay, Salty, with that kind of idea in mind, who do you think are the characters that are supposed to look good in this show?
Well, I think we have to define what good is. For me, it's who's interesting.
Let's say competent. To the point where you said
Daemon would be competent. I think both queens would. However, I think that there needs to be a journey of they're distraught over their kids getting killed or grandchild getting killed.
I think I asked the question poorly. The way the show is presenting the story, who do you think that the writers and directors are putting forward to appear competent? So
the women,
Serrato.
just the women.
So I don't
honestly.
I don't know. I don't think
they've made Otto look even weaker and more selfish than he was last season. See,
I don't know. I disagree with that too. I think Otto's the only one that looks competent.
I was the only one that's speaking reason. I mean,
Otto
he
was trying against everybody to try and hold this shit together and make the right moves.
Otto and Rhaenyra, older Rhaenyra. I think that's Rhaenyra, not Rhaenyra.
Rhaenys, yeah.
Rhaenys. Otto and Rhaenys, I think are the two that look like competent.
Yeah.
Rhaenys definitely looks competent. Otto, I think, I'm not buying it entirely because it feels like there's something else to this that they haven't dropped a shoe with yet.
But the problem with Otto is everybody around him is dumb and working completely against him. So he's building all this, trying to build all this stuff, and they're all just like stomping on it with like they're breaking all their toys because Otto said something.
Yeah, Rhaenys gets to stand in the background and just snipe shit because she's not invested in any of it.
Yeah, she gets to be passive aggressive. It's true. But I mean, I like Otto more this season. I like Otto more this season, but I really think that they've aged him inordinately since last season, because we're not talking about a decade going by since we saw him last season. He
You
just
said
seems a lot
aged
more
him?
frail. Aged. It feels like he's a lot older than he was at the end of last season, and the events of last season
Wow.
didn't happen a
Like,
long time ago.
I
You know,
believe he comes back in episode 8, so there was a time gap. So I don't know, I guess you're right. That
Well,
they
we're
didn't.
gonna
okay,
get
we don't
plenty
all
of
have to
Right.
agree. I just all I know is I'm looking for things because the tenor of this writing has changed a lot. And again, I said it last week. I mean, are we looking at this show differently because we just didn't have to sit through the dog shit that was the Rings of Power? You know, and now that it has to stand on its own, are
Okay.
we seeing everything that was there before, or in some ways has it decompensated because again it lost one of its showrunners? And I think the answer to all of that is yes, to a certain degree.
What about Trip brings up Sir Laris? What about Sir Laris? Do you think he's competent? I think he's pretty competent.
That's a pro host move right there.
I don't know how Laris. I don't understand why Laris why he's got a seat at the table. Why anybody talks to him? I don't understand.
I will say to your point, I've liked Laris in this season. The scene where he comes into the small council and is like spoken to by the king and accepted as being there. I didn't like that. He should not have been in the small council. He is the queen, the queen dowager's sort of spider, right? And he walked in and acted like people should know who he is, and he's been taking charge of the search and doing things. And I did not think that was appropriate.
Well, and then
So,
and then for time's sake, the Gold Cloak immediately gives Damon up, which just highlighted why it was a terrible decision to.
Can we discuss how the two sneak into the castle using the special tunnels, and then don't leave using the special tunnels and leave the access door to the special tunnels open?
They're acting like they wanted to get caught, tortured, and killed.
Wait. Clarify.
So they sneak in using Magor's tunnels, right? I think it's Magor, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Later, we see a scene with Aemond looking at the passageway opening, right? That they snuck into his room, right? And it's open, right? So presumably the rat catcher, who they didn't catch at the gate with the head of the child that he just beheaded, right? Used the tunnel to escape, or some other method, I don't know. But the Gold Cloak apparently beheaded this kid and then tried to use the front entrance instead of the back door secret passage that he had used to sneak in the first place.
And then left the path open behind them, so they knew.
And left the path open behind them. That, to me, out of all of the holes in the story so far, to include Damon being kind of a bitch and paying someone to go after his cousin, which I think you guys are a little more pro Damon than I am. So far, with the 2 seasons together, looking not at what Damon is supposed to be, but what Damon has been presented as, I think he's kind of a bitch. So I wasn't like super offended. I think it was out of character, but not necessarily wholly out of character. But that thing, the Gold Cloak being caught immediately at the front door with the head in a bag, that annoyed me.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that's something that completely passed over my head. Good points. So, but just to get back, we got about 40 minutes. So, what about I'm kind of lost now. Did we cover? Did we cover everything? Did we cover the Eric and Eric fight?
No,
not really.
The thing that happened up to this point in the episode was Rhaenyra like searching far and wide for the dragon wing or something like that. And to be honest, I wish that had just or was that episode?
That was
one?
episode
Yeah,
one. That was episode
Well,
one.
that
Episode
was one.
episode two
Sorry.
starts.
Sorry.
Episode two basically starts out with Rhaenyra talking down to Damon. Damon,
Yeah.
going, I'm, whatever,
Yeah.
and piecing out, and then what is it? Oh, we go back to King's Landing for the search. They find the gold cloak guy. They immediately squeals.
And then they use and then Otto, so just to support, Otto being competent, he actually says we could use this to our advantage. We can use we could turn the entire realm against her.
I hated him in that scene, but yeah.
What do
He
you
was
mean?
right.
Why do you hate him in that scene?
So I gotta say, just disclosure here, the Queen and my wife share a name, and watching these scenes definitely hit.
Newborn child, man. Of course,
I have a newborn son,
bro.
My wife's name is the mother. Like,
yeah, no. Still, Hightower in those scenes is portrayed as an uncaring piece of crap that is just. But what he's trying to. He's trying to make a win out of it.
That's the nature.
He's the hand
rule. That's the nature.
He's got to look. He's got to look beyond his feelings and do what's best for the realm, which is what does him in.
They're playing it. They're playing at war, and you play to win or something. But it's a rough scene.
Well, not to mention he's done it. Basically he's lied his way into that room twice. So
yeah, and he got he is the architect of this whole thing by having Allison bed the king basically, and then get married and all that.
It's all. And
then all of a sudden he's like, oh, it's her kids are going to come before yours. She's going to have them killed off, which is probably true. It's probably true. So, yeah.
Hightower, I wouldn't be surprised if Aegon has a kid.
I know we're jumping ahead, but I get what you're saying, Salty, about Otto looking frailer than season one. I wonder if that was a choice, or maybe if that's just the actor. I'd be curious if he's just lost some weight, and I don't know. But
it's a continuity thing that really throws me off. And what you guys just said, there was that scene where he said that, and I agree with you. It's just that it's not, for me, translating to the screen that somehow the hand would make sure that these people would listen to him, and instead it's kind of like my grandpa who's yelling about the Cubs losing, and people are like giving advice to the coach on the other side of the TV. That's what it felt like, was impotence. And it's like, I don't think he was impotent last season, and now suddenly he's impotent now. And that's the challenge I'm having,
Well, I mean, I think it's supposed to be built that he's put together a small council that he can manipulate, that isn't being manipulated because they're too dumb to take his advice. Maybe. I mean, Jamie, the Lannister, I don't even know his first name. He just looks like a dumb fuck completely, like a clown.
Yeah.
So, I don't know who the other two, like you got the Maester and the other guy who are just, man, right?
With the exception of hanging the rat catchers and sending, I don't know which Eric it was.
Eric with the A.
Yeah. So with those two exceptions, I mean, Aegon has pretty much been doing what Otto wanted, right?
I don't know. There's been push. I feel like there's been.
I mean, Otto didn't want the rat catchers being all killed.
Well, that's why I said with the exception of the stuff that happened when he got fired as the hand, right? Up to that point, up to the point of his child being murdered and Otto then being. Losing.
Otto didn't have him do anything. He was just he didn't have to do anything.
Aegon hasn't liked any of his advice, and he has not made it a secret that he does not like Otto's advice, to the point where Larys is trying to move in his hand, and then that backfires, and all of a sudden Christian Cole his hand.
But wasn't that essentially established on screen with the king receiving audience and the hand giving him advice? and him, having to change his mind on it because of his advice, and then later essentially dismissing the hand, pushing back, giving what he's going to do anyway, and then the conversations in the small count. Like, I think the lead up to Otto trying to push harder and harder on Aegon, and then Aegon eventually snapping and being like, no, fuck you, you're fired. Like, I think that's it's a natural progression. Like, that's a believable progression. The characters, I think, sell it in their interactions. It's established in the 2 episodes. It's consistent, I think, with Otto and Aegon from season 1. That none of that bothers me, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I didn't say it bothered me. I was just, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I'll be the one that says it bothered me. It's funny because you're talking about an interesting arc that doesn't stand out from the 2 episodes that we have. There's some allusion to it, and I get that, but again, these episodes are only so long. In every episode, it feels like virtually nothing happens. The end of episode 1 was shocking. Okay, it was. We all knew something like that was going to happen. This episode,
I had to walk away.
I don't feel
that was. I'm still a little upset about that episode.
I don't feel like anything is being built that I don't need to pay attention, that I can leave the room, go take a leak, come back, and not have missed anything. And with only 8 episodes, with something this epic, I should be invested where my ass never leaves the sofa. And that's, it just feels like there's this huge change in tenor, and I said last week, pacing in this show, where it's like, can something fucking happen? Can something happen, or some triggering event, or can I feel like things are being laid down that are going to happen? And instead, like Steve said, the interesting people are not really on the screen all the time. They're not. That's a choice.
I think they're really trying to draw. They're doing the Walking Dead approach. They're really drawing this story out. Like, they're saying they already put out a 3rd season, and they're saying they want to do 4 seasons. I'm like, how are you going to do the Dance of the Dragons in 4 seasons? I think this could be done in 2. This could be the last season right here. So I mean, the big highlight for this episode was basically the Eric versus Eric battle. Which one is it? Oh, that typical trope of twins fighting, and the thing is in the source material, I was hoping they'd slay each other, like they just kill each other. No, the other guy landed on his sword. He's like, I feel bad. Like, dude, you protected your queen, even though I don't know how I guess he knew, because I don't know how he knew. I don't know how he knew to go over there.
No, they don't explain that. He's
he didn't see him. He clearly didn't see his brother.
Built that scene.
And then all of a sudden he's just like, what caused him to?
You had all the white worm shit before, which is like, I don't understand. Okay, we're having this conversation. You let her go, fine. Then you have her notice him.
Yeah, I hated those scenes with
just
her.
Coming up from the dock in his full Kingsguard armor, because nobody's, and then she notices that and it's like, oh well, fuck her, I guess fuck you.
Nothing happened with that.
Then we locked the door from the outside, because doors can't be unlocked from the inside. And then we have the fight, and then instead of doing the thing that they should have done, which in my opinion, which is have like the other guard comes in and goes, which one's Eric? Have one of them kill the other, and you don't know which one is alive.
But which one it is.
What they have to do, like, they have to make a decision from there. Are we going to believe this is our Eric, or are we going to do something that is unfathomable?
But you know who it is. And Pips, I'll just say this. You knew who it was, because the attacker, the bad one, got a leg wound. And I wasn't even following that closely. I'm like, all right, the one with the thigh wound is the bad guy. I'm like, okay,
So I'll just say, again, I haven't read and don't intend to, but let's just say that I presume that the brother fight probably happened about the way that George R.R. Martin wrote it, right? Where essentially they fight, and then, like, one of them they kill each other, or one of them kills himself after killing the other one, or something like that, right? Like I'm not sure that they reinvented the wheel on that dynamic. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong here, Salty. It seems like you've read it, right? Am I off there? Like,
No, I just said it. They slay each other according to Fire and Blood. So this show, but then again, once again, this is written by a maester, so this is like second, third hand knowledge. So they're like you guys said earlier, they're taking liberties with what actually happened. So
I
this
guess
is what they did. I don't know. I feel this is lame.
I would have liked to see the White Worm actually go maybe tell the brother. If they had, instead of them like passing.
What was the point of that scene where she's walking and she
stuff,
sees him? Like, was it just for the audience, just for the sake of the audience?
I feel like they cut a scene there.
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say, it seems like there's a cut scene where she is running back and grabs the other Eric and be like, "Did you just come up from the docks?" And he's like,
"Why didn't they do that?"
Yeah,
I don't know.
There was no tension built. She could have ran up to that door and be like, "You can't come in here." And it's like, "I have to save the queen's life." And then there's this thing where you watch Eric slowly approaching the queen's chamber, and then the other Eric slowly approaching the door. And who's gonna get who first? Nothing. There's no fucking drama built. There's no. That's what I'm talking about. Investment. I desperately want to like this show, guys. I really do. But 2 episodes in, I am incredibly disappointed at having very reasonable expectations. Okay, very reasonable expectations. To me, this show is not being written for somebody who likes good stories. It's being written for the same dipshits that are like, "Oh, this is like Bridgerton, or this is like Dallas, or this is like Falcon Crest." It is not written for us. It is, like I said, it's not written for those hundreds of millions of fans of Game of Thrones. And it's like, no one can tell me that is not a deliberate nerfing of this show.
I'm just tired of like little things, like locking the door from the outside, and then the queen gets there to get out, and she can't get out of her door that's locked from the outside.
So I just want to throw out, if none of you guys have mortise locks that have those kind of skeleton keys in your house, I have them in my house. That actually is the way that those locks work. There's only one key can be in the door at a time. So if he turned the key and pulled it, then there's no, unless you insert a key into the lock from the inside, you can't unlock it. That is actually the way that door works.
But why?
I've had an old house like that too.
I just don't understand why that would be the like.
She would have the key. She's the fucking queen.
I don't understand why, but I understand. Look, I understand there are doors that are like that. I get it. Yeah. But why? Like, why would that be the door?
I'm not disagreeing that it was a dumb. I'm not disagreeing that it was a dumb conceit. I feel like there just should have only been one door into that room. I'm not sure who has two doors into the queen's bed chamber.
How about this? Skip the whole scene where you're locking the door. Have the White Worm come up and find and replace and put the one back in where she finds Eric too and says, "What the fuck? Where's did you just come from the?" And he goes, "Oh my god!" and runs to the queen's chamber. Just replace those two. Don't have the lock scene even happen.
Well, also, I mean, if you could have just, instead of having the lock scene, he watches the other guard close the door and leave from the other side. Why didn't he just walk in through that door at that time?
I don't get. That's what I thought he'd do. It's just wasting time. And again, I don't know what they were trying to build. And it's like, oh, there's 2 doors to this room, so she can't get out that way. Well, if you were gonna block the fight the way that it did, it wouldn't have made any difference if she could have got out that goddamn door anyway. And it doesn't make any sense about this. And this is why I'm frustrated.
She definitely could have run to the same door that she told her maid to go run to.
She was there. She got to that door.
Yeah.
Okay. Salty. I really like your. If I can say that, I think this is your central criticism, and tell me if I'm wrong. That for what we have seen, it has taken probably 30% to 40% too much screen time to get where we are.
You're close. I think it's taken 60 to 70% too much screen time. I'm not being facetious when I say that.
No. I get it.
The pacing is a huge problem here, and in the other part, and I'll stop talking, is I see nothing being planted that's going to develop in the next episode. I see nothing, no little intrigues or complexity or something where if you're an intelligent and attuned watcher, you're going to be rewarded for some little aside or some little comment or someone picking someone up, just not even in the center of the frame, but there's nothing that's grabbing me as a viewer.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm just sitting here waiting, and I'm like, oh, when is that bitch going to take another bath? I mean, that's literally what I'm waiting for. That's all that it is.
I want to ask a question too. Are we in a place where episode 3 is going to start with Rhaenyra's group appalled that they tried to assassinate her, the mirror of what just happened in episode 2 of them being appalled that they, so it's like, are we now going to jump to them going, how dare they try to kill me? We need vengeance. And then
I'm
like,
really hoping that episode 3 is going to start with the rising action, right? So to use kind of what Salty's talking about. So there's 8 episodes, right?
Yeah.
And I agree. And I'll start this with a question, Salty. If the first 2 episodes had only been one episode, if all of the events that had happened had been episode 1, and we were now, instead of episode 3, we're looking at episode 2, all of these things that happened, but with less filler, tighter, would you be okay with what we're seeing?
I'd still give it probably a 7.5. I for a lot of reasons, but at least the story would have moved along. So now I gave the first episode, and I said I would amend it. I gave it a 7 out of hope. I'm being like, there's no way it's going to be this slow. Like something explosive is going to happen in episode 2. If it doesn't, then I know that we're in trouble from a writing perspective.
Okay.
And here we are in episode 2, and I'm like, we're in trouble from a writing perspective. So this one, I was like, am I going to give it a 5? And I'm like, I'm going to give it a 5.5. But I'm also going to make episode 1 5.5 because I am not invested in this. I don't give a shit who wins. I don't care. I just don't care.
Well, I think, and I said this in our Discord before hopping on here and telling people to come watch the stream, that I was like, I've said before that I have low standards when it comes to education or entertainment, which is why my criticisms of Wheel of Time should be taken so seriously. Because I am almost one of those people who just enjoys everything. Like I'm almost that person on Twitter who just likes everything and says everything's good. So the fact that I with my low standards, hate Wheel of Time is really saying something. But okay, Salty, I think you and I have a different flavor of criticism.
All right. Wait, Pips. Let's start wrapping this up. So, yeah. So, just
you got the hook.
So,
Giving Pips the hook. He's yanking him off.
Sorry, man. Sorry, Pips. But we only got a few minutes left, so I want to just. So, final thoughts on the episode. What do you guys think of how the episode ended? So, like, what was with that? Just smacking, shoving, smacking. I'm like, what? I'm like, what is this? I
thought it was hot. I thought it was hot. I liked it.
Yeah, well, they're about to get, they're about to get down, but I thought they were going to end it with the Eric fight, and all of a sudden they have this another setup for the next episode. They have did you even remember that Otto? Do you remember that Allison had other sons? Had another son? Like they had another son in old time. I didn't even remember that. Like, did you?
I definitely forgot that shit.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah.
I
just rewatched the season. I didn't even remember that. That's just.
I forgot Rhaenyra had sons with Daemon. So like.
I was counting Helena's children in that scene, and then I realized that it was Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
I had I totally forgot Rhaenyra had sons with Daemon, and it's just like, so now, what are we doing? Allison has
more kids. Rhaenyra has more kids. I know one of those kids
has
see Rhaenyra get killed.
Targaryens now,
according to Fire and Blood. So I don't know. I'm not. So far, I'm not liking the pacing. I'm with Salty on that. But I don't know. But some of the points, like like the believability. I'm actually with Pips on this. And Steve, I hate you. I don't. No, I'm kidding. You guys have all had great. Guys have all had great points. But I think you guys already stated your final thoughts for this. So I'm just going to jump to. Okay, go ahead.
I have one final thought. I have one final thought on this episode, and that would be the analogy has to this show has become Taylor Swift. It is incredibly mid. I don't see a lot of talent behind it, but it's the biggest thing out there, and and everybody's kind of into it right now.
Taylor Swift is the biggest thing out there, really?
She
well,
is.
It's my fucking metaphor. Let me butcher it the way I want to. No,
it's really confirmed.
No, oh my God, I'm gonna go to Chicago and punch you in the nuts. Really
do it.
No. My point with it is I think they're trying to do something with this show to sell it essentially the same way that Taylor Swift is sold. This is the script is not very good. It's great stage dressing. There are some things that hook you a little bit, but overall, there's really, I'm not getting any creativity. I'm not getting hooked emotionally. I'm not getting hooked intellectually. I am not being rewarded for being an intelligent viewer, and I'm not being rewarded for paying attention. And I'm having a really hard time because I'm not even upset with it. I'm mostly just kind of low grade disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, that's sort of where. Yeah, sort of same. Like I understand why, like, everybody seems to be saying it's a 7, but it's not a great show. It's just like, okay, no. I guess I can agree with that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but I haven't been. There's been little gleaming parts that have been okay, and some good. Like I thought the Aegon Hightower scene was good. But mostly I was just like underwhelmed, I guess is the best way to say it.
Okay. All right. Pips, yeah, sorry about the interruption earlier. You have any final thoughts?
No, it was well deserved.
No, it wasn't.
I will put it this way. I am cautiously optimistic and interested in episode 3. I get what you guys are saying. I think that the arguments you guys have made have probably caused me to reassess and downgrade my rating a little bit, because you made some good points. And I think the pacing, I think, so Salty's point about the pacing, I think, is the strongest point about this being an 8-episode arc. The point I think, Brian, you made about like stretching this book into 4 seasons is, laughable.
It's not even a book. This is like 3 chapters.
Yeah,
this is like 3 chapters. Not like they could easily do this in maybe 2. Yeah. They could do this in 1 season. Like
making this, I agree with what you're saying. What Salty's saying is probably the most egregious thing since making The Hobbit into 3 movies.
Agreed. That's what this feels like, Pips. That's a perfect analogy.
And so from that perspective. If I think about the 2 episodes we've seen from the perspective of pacing, I think you're making a strong point. I hope that they use these 2 episodes as some groundwork for the characters, and that we now will have basically 6 episodes of rising action and some sort of a conclusion. If we don't get that, then I will probably have to do what Salty did with episode 1, and I will have to further lower my assessment of these episodes. So I'm willing to give them enough rope to hang themselves on the rest of the season. But you guys make some good points.
Yeah, and I don't want to be a little rain cloud. It's just that, my God, the clock is ticking. Again, if this was episodes like we got in the early 2000s and we had 22 episodes, all right, you can jerk off for a while. But really, your job in the first episode is to drag me in here because I've been waiting. And it's like, okay, we're in the world, and then you showed me the wall and all this other stuff. But then to have the sophomore slump immediately in the second episode, and it's like,
I mean, it's hard to believe that this series, compared to Game of Thrones, took 2 years of production, because even Game of Thrones, the first 4 seasons came out back to back, year to year, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. So,
Which
I mean,
scene
basically, I
from
still
Game of
like. I
Thrones?
mean, the most impressive thing that I liked about this episode was seeing seeing the shot of her in the study, Rhaenyra in the study. That actually looked really good. Like for a second, I thought I felt like I was in a fantasy again and everything. But then
You mean with the two kids?
With the white worm? That's when the white worm comes in and all that.
Oh,
but then the white
yeah,
worm
yeah.
came
Like the
in. And I
library?
can't stand. I can't stand her actress.
No, I can't either.
And
It's distracting.
she speaks way too frankly for being in front of a queen. So I mean,
there was
I'm fine. I had a hard time finding some believability in that.
That's
So-
what drove me nuts. It just feels like it's 2024 in castles. That's
Well,
what
and
the
then
dialogue
I mean, and then Alex brought up the Aemon scene being like one of the like what was that? I mean, the one thing I was looking forward to about Aemon, based on what I've read in World of Ice and Fire, I mean, he's got a freaking sapphire in his eye. He lost his eye. He's supposed to become this badass. He has this sapphire in his freaking eye.
No, his
you don't
mommy
F
loves
with
Aegon
him.
more.
You don't
so,
F with
you
him.
know.
I was expecting full blown Darth Vader from him.
Yeah,
he's
that's
gonna
what he
go
should be.
Murder
Well,
his cousin.
That's what I'm
with
talking about.
Vagar. And
But
then all of a
Brian,
sudden,
don't you
the
understand
big
that
issue.
toxic
Hold that thought,
masculinity is
Pips.
just
Hold
a
that thought.
cover?
I wanted to see that. Then all of a sudden, they brought into this thing. Now, maybe this is going to be a Winds of Winter thing. Maybe this is going to be a Dream of Spring plot point that they're going to add, or this detail is that the Targaryens, the big reveal is that the Targaryens actually don't control their dragons, or it's all an illusion, blah 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 blah, which I thought was so stupid. But they did that with this, and they made Aemon look like a moron, and then they make him even look more like a moron. It's like, oh, they were mean to me, blah blah blah, and then he's in a fetal position, and the matron of the
Very
of the,
vulnerable.
Drinking
Yeah.
warm milk
I'm
from
just like,
mommy, like
That's it.
like I want to see like when he comes into a room, when he comes into a scene, I'm not going to feel that tension. Like let's say when Ramsay Bolton comes into a scene, or Book Euron comes into a scene, or Tywin Lannister comes into a scene, you're like, the tension's not there. There's no tension. There's no tension now because of these scenes, these established scenes. I mean, okay, you want to make them relatable. Why?
I don't even think that's
But
related.
where did that character go? Where did
Yeah.
that character go that was such a badass at the dinner table when his father was dying? You remember that? What a hard ass.
He says
he was.
strong voice,
not
and then they get up and they're trying to punch him, and he just pushes them down like they're nothing. I thought that was great. I thought that was great. There was tension there. There was terrifying. I can't take him seriously now.
But he's sitting there naked, completely emasculated and infantilized in a whore's lap who's old enough to be his mommy. Again, the symbolism here is so on the nose.
Drinking warm milk from mommy.
That's it. Is all these tough guys are. They're just little boys who are overcompensating, and they're doing the same fucking thing with Daemon. And it's like, you cannot do this. You cannot end at season 1 with all of this conflict, with all of these strong male characters and all of these determined female characters, to now everybody's ambivalent in taking baths and getting railed or taking off or crying in whores' laps. It's like, that is not what the fuck I signed up for with House of the Dragon.
Salty, you're talking a lot of sense. I'm not trying to be sensational. It's disappointing. It's just
Alex once again nails it on the head. Like, he said that in the group chat, and it's just like, yep. I didn't get mommy's love, so I'm gonna do it at the whorehouse. And it's just like, now Aemon is mini Daemon, I guess.
And then they revealed that that's where he was when the whole blood and cheese thing went down.
Yeah,
I was like, give me a break. So I don't know, but
wasn't he? Isn't that a consistency problem? He was in planning with Christian Cole when that all went down, wasn't it?
No, he was there before, because remember, they come in and they see the map, but
okay.
He had been there with Cole, and then Otto came in and Otto dismissed Cole, and he and his
You're right.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
And then
100%.
he got
correct.
and then
Yeah,
he got some
yeah, he's
ass.
right.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
My bad. You're
Mhm.
absolutely correct. 100%.
But if I could list the scenes where I most wanted to pull out my phone and just check and see if I had gotten any notifications, probably that scene was probably chief among them, of just like, all right, cool, yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing here, but it is not like you said, Salty. It's not what I signed up for with this show. I think that's fair.
And I want to like it. It's just that
It has the elements. It's just like not paying off. Like it has
There-
the stuff's there.
they're nerfing this show. And I can only guess because the other showrunner left. I think we know now, and I said it last week, the reason why he left is he probably didn't want to nerf all the men in this show. And the one who wanted to got to stay. And then they brought the same writer as from The Acolyte to write on this show too. And are we shocked that we're getting this? And it sucks. And like I said, I want to love this show. It's just having watched Shogun and having watched Masters of the Air, both having come out this year, and then seeing this, I'm like, guys, come on.
No, this show is far and away worse than either of those two shows. 100%. Yeah. I will fully agree with that.
All right. So, but yeah, my basically my judgment on this episode is there were scenes that I felt didn't need to be there. I thought that felt like a waste of time. I'm not sure what they were trying to set up, like the whole cringe. Was it Jason, Elena or Raina or whatever her name is, talking about their dads and all that. Yeah. I don't believe. No, that's not going to happen.
Why not?
that's not going to happen.
Well, it's nice that he just he's openly calling what's his name, Strong, his father. So
isn't he like married to her sister?
I don't think he's married.
Yeah, I think he has a son.
I thought the two brothers were marrying the two sisters.
I thought he had a son.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I was pretty sure. Wasn't that his son that threw Luke's horse on the pyre?
No, that was the third. Was
that one of Rhaenyra's son?
Yeah, I think so.
It was a blonde. No, wasn't it a blonde? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
But like, yeah, the whole like Daemon being dressed down was. I honestly, I mean, I'm kind of in between. Like I think Daemon acted the way Daemon would. Like he just acted like he didn't give a shit, which is pretty consistent with how he was in season 1. But the whole thing, he's like I told them what to do, and then all of a sudden, like I don't recall him because I remember him giving instruction. I don't remember him telling them to. I don't know if he said to kill just the son, but he told me like he literally said gave them the description of what he's like. He's the guy with the eye patch.
Why would he kill the guy with the eye patch?
But yeah,
that's not there. Well, then don't kill anybody else. It's like
I agree. I mean, that's stupid. That was stupid. That was stupid. They did ask that, so yeah, I'm with you guys on that. So
it's dumb.
But yeah, the whole Helena and Aegon, there was a scene where they walk past each other and he doesn't say a word to her and all that. I was just like, oh, really? And the thing, here's the thing. Aegon's in pain. They're trying to kind of humanize him a little bit. He's a piece of shit. Like you remember what he liked in season 1. So I'm only like, it seems like they're trying to get us to feel sympathy for him. That's impossible.
They're nerfing.
Based on what was established in season 1.
I sort of low-key disagree with that. He's probably pissed at her because she let her son die.
Yeah. That is exactly what I interpreted that
as. He's pissed. That's how I interpreted it. He's pissed off at her because she gave up his son.
Yeah.
Whether that's what they should all be dead, frankly, but whether that's rational or not, he is mad at her because he saved their daughter and let his son get murdered. That's what I took for that in the hallway.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I took it.
You're right. You're right. When I think about it now,
took it
that's a natural response. That's
I
actually
liked
a natural
that
response.
moment, and I interpreted it the way Steve did. So.
I don't know that it's natural. It's a little unhinged.
It is.
It's not her fault.
It is. It is.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I
anger.
guess.
I mean, it's even a theme in Game.
No,
of
you're
Thrones.
right.
It's even a theme in Game of Thrones. So yeah,
Yeah,
it
you're
is.
right.
So
You're right.
yes,
Correct.
you guys are in the right on that. So thanks for that. And ultimately, this episode was. I mean, I'm gonna say. Was it better than last week? I don't honestly. I don't know. They're about the same for me.
Yeah,
they're pretty
that's
low,
fair.
6 out of 10 or whatever.
I think, I about the same. For me, I'd say about the same too. I'm not really. I'm like compared to, like you said, Shogun, compared to shows I like Better Call Saul, even early Game of Thrones. Like I look forward to the episodes next week. I'm looking at the next week's episode, and I just like. I'm not really caring. I'm not really caring about what's happening. It seems like it's going at a snail's pace, and it's just I'm not invested in any character. There's no one to be invested in. They're all pieces of shit. Like, and the kids are gonna die. The kids are wooden. Like the Jace character. Like,
yes,
I don't like. He's just there. He's just there. There was a one tender moment last episode where he's crying, because of his brother and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, I felt so. But other than that, there's no other personality with just him being the son. So what a lot of these characters are, they're just kind of there. They're just there to probably to be killed, probably.
So
and there's not a whole lot of development with them. So, but I need to wrap this up, Pips. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's my take. So this episode is just, is this better than season 8? I don't even know at this point. So that's my take. I'll have to rewatch it. Yeah.
Ooh,
season 8 was
it's better than
terrible, but somewhat entertaining. After watching Wheel of Prime and Rings of Power, season 8 is looking a lot better to me now. So
yeah, I mean, I'll give credit to the show. There's a narrative in every episode. The problem is nobody cares.
All right,
like I genuinely do not give a shit what's happening.
Okay, guys, let's okay, so plugins. So you guys have anything you want to plug? Let's start with the special guest, Pips. Got anything you want to plug? Is the White Cloaks do anything? Are you coming out of retirement? Are we gonna have a welcome home Cotter Pips type of deal right here? What's going on?
We're gonna do the season 2 rewatch at some point here. Probably starting in about a week or two. We'll start recording.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
we are gonna do it.
How much? You have the liquor ready?
I knew you were doing it. I didn't know when. Good job.
And
awesome.
Other than that, I've been acquiring all of the graphic novels, and at some point I need to do a video going through those and doing a giveaway. I've been buying all of the variant art copies of them and want to give away copies of the graphic novel. But yeah, I don't know. My only plug is just thanks again for having me on. It's good to get a break from doing things with new baby at home and all that stuff. And
yes, once again, sorry about the interruptions. I know, you have a lot you want to say.
No, it's good. You gotta rein me in.
Okay, what about you, Salty?
No, other than I want to ask people who are watching this, have you considered joining the Nerdporial Continuum? I know for Steve, he was actually bald and was completely insane. True. And then he clicked the button and joined the Nerdporial Continuum.
Now
he grew a full head of hair. He grew a full head of hair and a beard, so that now he's widely accepted within his local Mennonite and Amish communities. True. So please consider joining the Nerdporial Continuum.
Yeah, only
Thanks,
more. I got more.
Have to say that.
I got more insane.
What about you, Steve? What's going on with you? What got what's happening going on? You got another review? You're gonna post your own review of this episode?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be I should. Hopefully, I get time. Work beckons. So, yeah. So hopefully, probably a review. I may, yeah, I don't know. It's all random for me, so just keep an eye on the channel. The stuff will come out.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. And for me, Tuesday is going to be Chilporial, and I'm going to be bringing on Alex and Lady B. So I wanted to get them before they get married. So I wanted to do that. So that's going to be on Tuesday night. So tune in, save that time. And it's going to be a good show. I can't wait to have them both on. So, in terms of video content, haven't really been interested in doing original video content anymore. I still have some projects I do need to finish though. So it's just been, maybe because I'm going back to work, maybe I'll have more, I'll have more motivation to do, especially when I'm not doing anything outside of work. So, we'll see about that. But yeah, like I definitely, eventually, I don't know if it'll ever happen. I want to get all the white cloaks on. I don't know if that's possible, Pips, but that's something I want to do.
That's a good way to get your channel canceled.
I know, but hey, I'm already associated with you guys. It's too late for me. It's too late.
You may need a young priest and an old priest for that, just to make sure things don't get totally out of hand.
Yeah.
So, Salty, you and Purple Vector, I want to do something with too.
Totally.
I'll message you. We'll see if we can arrange a date or something. And F you, Steve. Screw you, Steve. What
wow.
the? Nah. Steve's my streaming bro for a reason. He's been there. He's been there when I needed him.
Like
Steve's the best. You're Steve. You're the best.
Thank you.
You are. You guys all are the best. What can I say? And Pips, I really appreciate you doing this. I know you have so much going on, with life circumstances and all that. I'm really appreciate you doing this. But you don't ever feel obligated. If I ask something, don't ever feel obligated. Say, bro, can't do it. Busy. That's it. So, but yeah. So, guys, thanks for being here. Take care. Have a good night. Stay in Reportio.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.